Hey guys, I'm back in the studio today. It's been a little while, I know. I had 2 or 3 friends that wanted me to do their houses that were absolutely gorgeous, so I had to do that. Y'all know how that goes. But I'm going to paint today, and I thought that I would take you all along with me. This is going to be a Christmas scene. I'm excited about doing it. I'm a little scared. I've got something in my mind that I want to do, going through other paintings for Christmas, and I hope I can do it. I'm not sure if I can, but we're going to attempt it. Now, I'm going to do a blue winter wonderland with a Christmas tree right smack dab in the middle. Y'all know I'm not a big middle person, but I'm going to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to get one of my brushes, and I want the background to be blue and white. I'm going to get my other brushes. Hold on just a second. Let me get these from millennium ago. Let me see what I've got here. As far as wide brushes, I want a couple of colors, so I want some wide brushes. Now, I'm going to attempt to do this in one way. If it doesn't work, I'm going to get a whole nother. I've got one sitting over here waiting just in case it doesn't work. The problem with what I'm going to do is the tree that I want to put on here, I want to make the snow look kind of three-dimensional, so acrylic doesn't dry well. It doesn't dry fast. Not well, doesn't dry fast. So I'm going to make a thin background up here and a thin one down here. And after I do my tree, then I'm going to add the thickness into it. That's going to be the tricky part of it. So let's give it a shot here. And I'm going to move things a little bit. I'm a little crowded. One of the reasons is I have brought things in from the house and from Maine. And I'm going to move things a little bit. I'm a little crowded. One of the reasons is I have brought things in from the house and from Maymay's that I thought I might want to use. So I brought them in, and in typical Brenda fashion, I'll fix it in a little while. So I've gotten pretty much piled up here more than I really want piled up here. All right, I have my paint out that I'm going to use. I'm going to show you my palette. Let me get this one little squirt of that color out. Well, hopefully we're not going to need a whole lot of color. Now what I have is white. I have 1, 2, 3 colors of blue. It doesn't matter really what color you have. It's according to what you want to come through. I have a little bit of green I might not use, but I want to have it out in case I do. This was supposed to be gray when I picked it up, but it's silver. Now, I'm probably going to have to make my gray because I think I'm out of gray. I can't see any over there. I have some in the house, but not much. So anyway, I'm going to make, this is black with a little brown, and I'm going to make me a gray over here. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Now, probably not going to use this green either, but I want it out just in case I do. So I'm going to take my palette knife. So what I'm going to do here is, and the reason I'm going to go ahead and make me some gray is because I know I'm going to have a lot of white. So I just want to make sure that I have a lot of white to use. Tree trunk color, this smoky. Yes, I know I got a little of the green in there, but that's all right. It will be just fine. And see, those two colors don't look a lot different, but when they get where they're going, they will. All right, so I've got those two mixed. And the rest of them I'm going to mix either on canvas or on the palette. So that's why I'm getting ready. So let's put it right here. Hopefully I don't get my sleeve in it. Y'all know I'm a messy painter, so I won't ask for forgiveness very much, just a little. All right, here we go. First, I'm going to do my background, and what I want to establish first is I just want to get a little bit of an idea. So I kind of want my tree to start sort of kind of here. I'm not going to draw a tree. I'm just going to give me a little outline because I don't want it that wide, Brenda. I will go further outside these lines. I don't know what I got to talking and just went away. So I want my top to probably be about here, maybe somewhere in there, and I want my bottom. Now I want the bottom to kind of have a craze because I'm going to go that way. I'm not going to make a big fat tree. All right, so I want my horizon line or my woodland line. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want it to be half. I want it to be, I'm going to get my hand in that. I don't want it to be half. I want it to be a little more in the top than in the bottom. I guess that's about right. All right, I want that to happen. Now, the other thing I want to keep in mind, but I'm not going to really worry about it, is I might want some shrubbery or something kind of in this corner right here. And maybe a little animal trail. Now, that's going to be covered up. I know it's going to be covered up. But why I'm doing that is I'm getting my mind to think about trees up in here. And I want more branches that are just real subtle. And maybe a couple of little white trees back in here. Just kind of forever. But I want it to be, it's a snowy day. So I want to think a snowy day. So I'm going to start with my white. I told you I'm going to get my hand in that before this is over with. Get my arm in there. My nice red shirt that Briar made me. She put Christmas stuff on it. Now, I'm going to go into this silver. Let's just see what it might do. Well, it's not going to do too much. So I'm going to go back in here to my made silver. I've got lots of water in here. Go back in here to my made silver. And I'm just going to touch the cerulean blue. Just kind of touch it and get it in there. If you notice, as always, I'm going under in the back. I'm going down under the paint. I'm not dipping into the paint. Oh, one color I forgot was red, but let me get this down here. And if you've got, like I did, I had too much one color, you're using the white to blend it, so don't worry about that. It's gonna, now, I would do this on an easel, but it's easier for you all to see it if I don't. And I'm just making me a distressed sky, I guess you'd say. I want it to be kind of gloomy, but yet not too gloomy. Let's put a little bit of this dark in here. See what that blue that turns it. It's amazing what a little subtle shade. See, that gets it even more kind of gray. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this is going to be covered up. Put in here is a little violet. So see how nice and pretty that looks? I just want some. It might be that it's sunset. I think we have more violet at sunset than we do at sunrise. Not sure. Don't see many sunrises, but that's okay. Okay, that's pretty much done for right now. And you see, I'm patting. I'm not stroking. I'm patting. And what I'm going to do is I've got to pick me a little more of the blue, the grayish blue. And I think I'm going to put a little touch of that in it and kind of put that over on this side. I don't have much paint, and the reason I don't have much paint is I want it to dry quickly. Now, probably at some point this would be gorgeous to do in texture paint, or make the paint be a little more textured than it is right now. That would probably be a great, but you're gonna have to let it dry. It would have to dry. Okay, that's pretty much the sky for right now. I want that to get a little bit dry. All right, now let's get the bottom started so we can be letting it dry. Now I'm gonna do it in a different technique. I'm gonna take my white and I'm laying it down. See how I'm just laying it down? If I pick up a little of that blue, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm not avoiding that where the tree's going to be. I'm not avoiding it at all, but it's not necessary to go all the way across. So we're just getting us some white paint down on our canvas is what we're doing. And maybe if I do it that way, you can kind of see. Now I want to remember to do my sides because I'm going to either hang this or just hang it on the wall. I may put it on an easel. I may put holes in the top for it to hang on the wall. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but let's put us some blue in that. Now, if you're painting along with me, this is not the finished. I promise. This is just getting there. All right, so now, while we still have a little bit of wetness up there, I'm going to go back into my white, go back into my blues. I think I'm going to do both blues. And here's how I'm going to make my trees. Super easy. I'm going straight up and down. I don't want them to show much. They'll show in the end. And then I'm just patting around. Just patting around. Now, if you don't want to do it with a big brush, let me get a smaller brush. If you don't want to do it with a big brush, go into your water, tap off the water on your paper towel. Go into your color. Oops. Go into your color. I'm a messy painter, I'm telling y'all. I am a messy painter. Now, I'm going to make this one a little darker so you can see it better, and then I'll go back over it. You can make your top. Now, do not go back into that top, and just take your brush and do that. That's all you want, because these are way back in the back. Now, I'm going to do one with a little blue. I'm just going to put that blue into my dirty white, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. And I'm just going to do some bushes and scrubs back in the back, because when this dries, I'm going to come back with white trees over this. And I'm going to come back in here with a couple more right here. I just want some shrubbery and some bushes. I don't want to mimic it. I don't want it to be it. I just want you to think it. And then while it's wet, I'm going to come in here while it's wet, and I'm going to take my white, and I'm going to make me some roundness up here. That might be a tree, it might be a bush. I'm not sure what I want it to be, but it's going to be something, because I want a lot of white coming through. Okay, trust me, trust the process. Don't panic. Trust the process. All right, now to kind of tie in, let's go back to our little brush. I think that'll be easier for you all. Let's go into another little bit and go into the gray. We're just going to make us some, I don't know what you'd call it, but we want, I think I want a little bit of this color. Take some of the white. If it's got blue in it, that's okay. All right. And then I'm just going to kind of spread it around in here. I'm just going to make me some bushes in all kinds of places. This may get covered up. It may not. Just going to make some, bring it down to the horizon line. This just might be the morning kind of peeking through, or the afternoon. It might be something like that. Just peeping through. We don't know. We'll figure it out later. Okay. Now let's go back into a little more white. We're going to spend a little bit of time doing this, so just relax and go with it. That a little dirtier. And I'm puffing like it might be trees. We're going to see. All right. Let's take some. Keep it light. Keep it light. Keep it light. Let's take some white and puff around here a little bit. I'll pull that almost into the top. Okay. Now I'm going to put that down for right now. And let's start our bottom here. Now we're going to go back into it. Let me just get this one. This one will be easier for you all. If you have your brushes, I got these from May. They're great. I'll get Tam to link it down in the bottom. Okay, I want to go into my darker blue a little bit here. And I'm going to go up in here some on my, I'm going to put a little bit of the, that, just a little bit of all of them, just a little bit of all of them. And I'm going to go into here, and then here, we're just making some shadows into it. We're taking this dirty snow and brightening it up a little bit. I want to darken that some on the horizon there. I'm going to come back and darken it even more. So I just want to remind myself to do that. And then while I've got that in there, I'm going to go into some white. Okay, that's pretty much done right now. Now, I told you I wanted to put something here in the corner. Oh, I want to remind you, y'all put some sort of paint. Doesn't really matter what color it is. Just get you some paint. You can take the paint you're using and go all the way around it, but you just need something that's, you've got paint on there. Don't make you a straight line like I did. Okay. And this is a subtle painting. This is just a sweet little subtle painting. All right. Now, let's lay down our tree. We're just going to kind of lay down our tree. Now, I want you to go into your gray and just scoop you up some and put it right there. And we're going to touch the black. Touch it. And then we're going to touch the brown. And what happens is, and then I'm going to touch a little blue. And what happens is those colors blend and soften, and it makes it a gray that's pleasing to the eye. Now, I want you to listen to me. This is an old tree outside. It's a Christmas tree. I don't know what kind it is. But at the top, I'm going to take my top, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay? I'm trying to think. You all might do better if we go in with a dry round brush. If you're using these brushes, it's a 7. And let's just do this. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see what I'm doing. On the edges, I'm coming out with a stroke to make it look like it's the edge of the branches. Now, I'm gonna break it down this way. Let's go all the way. Let's decide where our tree's gonna end, just like this. I think I want mine to end about there. I can change my mind later if I want to. So I'm gonna, oops, I want it to go this way. I want my stroke to go that way so the end of it is tipped. All right. Okay. So you've got a basic shape of a tree here. Now go back and tweak it how you want it. Go back and tweak it. Now, let's go back with our big brush, and let's just make us some individual places to place some snow, because we're going to put snow on this bad boy. Don't cover it all up at all. And you see, some of mine's coming out another color. Do not cover it up at all. Okay. All right. That's pretty much what we're going to do until that dries. Well, I don't want it to dry. I want it to kind of dry. So while I'm while I'm letting that, I'm going to build me up some snow here. I'm going to build me up a snowbank right here. Just right here in the corner. Just a little snowbank. All I did was just run it up. Then I'm going to take the brush that I used and I'm going to go into this gray that I have. The brush is damp. And I'm just going to pull me out some little branches. I'm going to pull out some little stuff here. I'm going to make some little sage brush. Something like that. So you see, I'm making the bottom because it would be real gray and brown, all those colors. So I'm gonna put me some sage in there. Little bushes. Okay. All right. Let's let that get damp. Let's let it kind of dry, because I want you to take your little bitty liner brush. Let me see which one. You can take just any liner brush you have. And let's go into our color again. I'm going to add a little darker. Go into our color again. I'm going to make a few little... Ooh, my brush was wet. Don't touch it, though. That's kind of cool looking. That's kind of cool looking. Ooh, forgot to water off my brush. Man, I dodged a bullet there, as Bucky says. And I'm just going to take me some... There you go. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do right now. All right. Now, let's go in with your liner brush, the same brush you have. We're going to take our gray again. Take our gray. My brush is too wet, so I'm not wiping it. I'm just touching it. I hope you can see that. I'm just touching it. All right, now I'm going to go into my really thin. Now, I'm going to pull up from the side here, and I'm going to make some little thin branches. Just little bitty thin branches. And they're real smoky because they're way far back. Way far back. Then I'm going to pull, let's sweep this one. Don't make it straight. Just kind of sweep it down. And let's branch it off. And then from those branches, let's branch some little thin pieces. Okay. Now, if we want to, we can come back and do some more stuff with these if we see fit, but let's get everything on there before not. All right, let's bring some more. You see that's kind of white there? I'm going to bring some trees. I'm going to make them a little darker. Little darker. Little darker. Let's bring some trees up. Now, I am just barely touching this with the smallest edge of this brush. And as I go up, it's picking white up, which is what we want it to do. We want it to do that. And I find if I hold my brush straight up and down and try to barely touch, I do better. Now, this is a finesse thing. Everybody does this differently, so no panicking. Yours is going to look different. than everybody else's, and certainly different than mine, because mine's going to be there we go. We're just making us all kinds of good stuff here. And we just want to kind of bring it in. Oops, I got too close there. So let's make this, let me think here. I think I'm gonna bring this on over a little bit. Now I'm gonna tell you one beautiful thing about acrylics is, like, I messed that up pretty good right there. I'm gonna see if while it's wet I can't play with it and get it fixed. I did. Then I can come back on it with some snow if I want to. All right, now we have that done. So let's make us some trees. Let's make us some, I'm gonna have to get more white because I want a white tree with some blue in it. Now I'm not putting out much because when I put out a lot, it makes me want to use a lot. So here again, let's remember. All right, let's think about it. Let's remember how we did that. And remember, we're going to leave some spaces. I'm going to kind of make my branches go down. Okay. Some more. Just kind of make them go down and sweep. Okay. Now, I'm going to do one over here. I have to think when I change sides. I want them to go sweep down, sweep down. Okay. Make this more bushy. We can always go back. I don't feel like I have enough. All right, now, while that's drying, I want to rinse out our brush, our mid-size brush again. And now we're going to come back and put it white if we need to. And then this dark color, I'm going to add a little brown to it. We're going to go in and we're going to do that again. We're going to shape that tree again. Now you're going to have to keep going back in it so you can keep your dark shape. And you don't want it to always be the same color either. Well, shoot. You want to leave your white. Now we're gonna let this dry a minute. We're gonna let it dry. We're gonna go back with, but before we let it dry, we're gonna go back with our liner brush and fix the top. Okay, let's go into our blue that we have up here. And let's just make some darkness up under these trees. All we're doing is making some shadows so they'll pop out. You know, it's still, go into a little of the blue, then go in a little of the gray. Even come up here and pop into some of this aqua. If you want. And I want to. Got a little dry. Yeah, it's looking like it. So now while this is kind of drying a little bit, I want it to dry. You can, even if you want to while you're sitting there, you can go in with the hairdryer. You can do that, or you can go have a Coke or a tea, hot cider, any of that good stuff you want. But I'm going to go back in here with my liner brush, and I'm going to do those trees again. I'm going to come up. I want a few more of those squiggly trees because it's winter time and we're out in the middle of the forest. All right. Now, okay. This is a little tedious what we're going to do, but it's an important part of what we're going to do. So I'm going to take a little of all these colors that I've been using. I don't have any white in it yet. I'm not completely mixing them together, as you see. And I'm going to go into a little bit of the gray and put on one side of it because I want this to be pretty dark. All right, I want to go into here and I want to tuck under some of these branches some dark. I'm just tucking it under. It's not going to matter because our tree is very abstract. It's not going to matter where you put it. Just make sure you put it under white so that white will pop out. We're just creating some dimension in here. All right, I have now too much white. I'm going to wipe it off so I can go back into this other colors. And I can pop in some shadows. We're doing shadows now, is what we're doing. And these shadows are going to pop that tree, that snow on that tree, all the way up. Okay. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to tuck me in some of the darker ones because you know it would shadow. Now that's straight black right there. I'm going to put in here and I'm going to take some blues and soften that black up, but it's still going to be dark. I'm going to put a little brown in it, but they're still going to be dark. See how that makes that tree pop out? All right, we're just about there, folks. I have to remind myself to not pick it to death, okay? Oh, I see one more place I want to put some. One more place. Okay. All right. Now, if you want, you can let it dry. You can let it done because we're pretty done with this. It's pretty done, I'm afraid. The only thing I might do is if I were at home. Oh, I do see one thing I want to do. I want to take some white and bring this. Woo! Got some white, didn't I? And bring this little tree down and sit it on the horizon. I meant to do that before. Both of these need sitting down in the horizon. I might pop another little snow ghost tree back in there with what's left. And I might pop one right up in here too. There you go. All right. Now, here is the next step you can do. Now, if we were in a teaching situation, we would dry this first, but I'm going to do it. You wait until yours is dry before you do this. I'm going to take my red, straight red, and I'm going to put some Christmas balls on here. Now mine's wet, so I'm going to have to be real careful. And I love to steady myself with my finger, but I'm going to have to be careful. And you don't have to make a completely round ball. Did you hear it pop? I'm not going to put many of these on here. Hey, I know what let's do. Let's try it this way. I'm going to take my bigger brush and I am going to see if it'll do this way. Hey, hold your breath. Yes, 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 yes. I'm just going to need a little bit more paint. This will be so much easier for you. Just take the big end. It doesn't matter which brush, and whatever size ball you want. I may even change sizes of balls. And then I'm brush, or a brush, it doesn't matter. Go in, and I'm just going to put a little topper right there. Just a little top. And then let's take our skinniest brush and let's attach it here. And let's bring down a little line. There we go. Mine bled a little bit, but that's okay. We can fix that. You can fix acrylic so much better than you can watercolor or... No, actually oil would be better. See, I'm going to take this thing completely off because I let my brush get too dry. Here's how you fix that. Here's how you fix that. As the grandkids used to say, fix it, honey, fix it. Fix it. All right, now I'm going to fix it. Sorry about that, gang. I let my brush get too wet. So... I'm just going to make a little topper. There it goes. Just a little topper for the tree. And I'm going to highlight it just a touch on each of the balls. I'm just going to highlight them just so they shine, sparkle. Just barely touch them with a little white. And that'll give them a little sparkle. So, now what's left to do is let it dry and then sign it. And we're done. So, that's how I do a Winter Wonderland tree that's decorated out in the middle of woods. Okay? I would do that if we had snow. Would you? Let me know if you would decorate a tree out in the woods if you had all that pretty snow on it. Okay, gang. Until our next adventure.